you're planning to jet set out of the U.S. to save money on surgery or medical procedures, you're not alone. In fact, increasing numbers of people are doing the same thing. It's called medical tourism. And as our guest will explain this morning, you don't have to travel very far to get the same top quality surgical or dental procedures at a fraction of the cost. Meet Dr. Eric Adler of Adler Facial Plastic Surgery and Wellness Center and dentist Pedro Rodriguez of International Smile Designers, both out of San Juan, Puerto Rico. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having us.
Did you like that rolling Puerto Rico?
Yeah, that's how it is.
And Rodriguez.
Buenos dias. Thank you so much for being here. Gentlemen, I was reading a survey here, and I'd like to share this with you. It's out of the Medical Tourism Association. I was a little bit surprised. 69% of respondents expressed an interest in traveling overseas for medical procedures. Are you seeing that trend, Dr. Adler?
I am totally seeing in the last 20 years of being in private practice in Puerto Rico. I have, in the last 5 years, seen a very high number of people coming from New York, Los Angeles, Miami, Chicago, visiting for different types of surgeries.
Dr. Rodriguez?
We have the same trend at the dental office, a lot of people coming from the States looking for, treatment in Puerto Rico.
So if somebody's thinking of going to Puerto Rico, which happens to be part of this country, of course, because it is part of this country, and not too far for that matter, what should one consider when, let's say, taking on a cosmetic procedure?
Well, I believe that the most important thing is selecting the right person to do your procedure. Second, after that, is making sure that the person is working in a prepared environment. So the clinic, the consultation area has to be impeccable. And I think that another thing that patients need to look at is the recovery time for whatever given procedure they're going to have.
And something, doctor, that I think our viewers are not aware of is doctors like yourself in Puerto Rico have to abide by the same healthcare standards as doctors, let's say, in New York, for that matter.
Yeah, definitely. We have the same healthcare and legal standards. So, like in my case, in dentistry, all dentists in Puerto Rico have to be US board certified. So it's the same preparation. So the treatment you will receive by a doctor in the mainland or in Puerto Rico is the same.
And Dr. Adler, speaking of New York, you were schooled there.
Yeah, I went to medical school in New York. Then I did my specialty training at Walter Reed Army Medical Center. And when I went to Puerto Rico years later, I had double board certification. So not everybody has board certification in the States or in Puerto Rico, but it's another nice thing to have, which means you went an extra step in your education process.
So let's talk about some of the most common dental procedures that patients are doing in Puerto Rico and kind of compare apples to apples, if you will. What are you doing there, and compare the costs?
Okay, well, let's say probably the most sick treatment is the dental implants. So in the mainland will be probably between $2,500 to $3,000 per implant. Mm-hmm. In Puerto Rico, we'll go from $1,100 to $1,200, per implant. Is probably 40-60% the cost.
That's huge.
And when you multiply that times 3 or 4 implants, because sometimes people need more, that's a good amount of money.
That's a lot of change right there. What about cosmetic surgery, Dr.
When we
Adler?
talk about my patients that come from the mainland, mainly are coming for hair transplants. In Los Angeles, maybe they can pay for 3,000 grafts, like $30,000, $40,000. Wow. In San Juan, Puerto Rico, we're looking at 10 to 15. In New York, maybe a rhinoplasty in New York is like 15,000, 20,000.
That's a nose job?
A nose job. In San Juan, Puerto Rico is between $7,500 and $10,000. So we're talking about sometimes more than 50% savings.
What about a facelift? I'm just curious.
A facelift in LA, I have heard people charging as high as 50,000, 60,000. And in New York, maybe 25, 30. In San Juan, Puerto Rico, between 12 and 15.
And again, top-notch quality care
Sure.
of a top-notch quality doctor.
That's right.
Same equipment, same treatment, just half price.
Something I think is important to note also is the fact that, again, it's not too far. It is part of this country again. You don't need a passport to get there. And I'm just going to have to say that the island is beautiful and the weather is great. That has to be another plus.
Yeah, that's the it has been studied, that being in a tropical ambience, no stress, so it's good for healing, right?
Completely. You know, many studies have been put out, and they have looked at wound healing, and people with no stress in a relaxed environment heal, you know, maybe 30-40% quicker.
Well, I'm getting so convinced I might be considering my facelift in the future with Dr. Adler.
We'll be waiting for you.
Just go.
We'll be waiting.
But I don't think
Thanks.
I don't think you need much. So.
Thank you, doctor. So sweet you are.
So you just go to Puerto Rico, have your surgery or your dental treatment done, and have a vacation. That's the best.
We go to Bayamon every year.
That's nice.
Very nice
So
area.
we love Puerto Rico. Doctor, for our viewers out there who'd like more information, what's the website?
They can visit our website. It's stylehealthcarepuertorico.com.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having us.
I'll be calling you maybe in about 10 years.
I don't know. Call me in 5 and I'll let you know, but just kidding.
I love
You'll be
this man.
fine. You're
Thank
going
you,
to be
Dr.
fine.
Adler. Oh my gosh. I love honesty. And of course, if you'd like more information, again, the website, starhealthcarepuertorico.com. And remember to visit our website, thebalancingact.com. He's looking at my neck. I can see it.